So it's incorrect to use in this example. So we say do aerobics, do exercise. So individual or general activities that I will practice. On the other hand, when we have make a choice, it refers to general projects. So that's part of the explaining the function itself. Now, collocation sometimes, some studies says that it's quite similar or quite different with other structure in grammar. And in here, then we can appreciate maybe some difficulties that you can have as L2 learners. First, we have what is collocation. When collocations is when we put two words together. Keep in mind that. Collocations is when we put two words or more than two words together and they keep the same meaning. They don't change the meaning. And we have some example. Play soccer. I'm using soccer because now we are in this kind of environment, you know. And we have sport card and we have best friend. Believe it or not, these expressions are collocated. Play soccer because it refers to sport. And in play soccer, we have a combination that we can discuss even in grammar. Play as a verb and soccer as a noun. Then one example in the classification of collocation is when we combine verb plus noun. In another example, we have sport card, best friend. So we can have collocation with noun plus noun and adjective plus noun. On the other hand, we have phrasal verb. It's possible that if you look at some words and if you don't know them because you haven't studied before, so you say like, no, these are collocation, but no, they are phrasal verbs. How can you distinguish them? Well, phrasal verbs are verbs, of course, but they are together with a preposition. And a phrasal verb with a preposition will immediately change the expression's meaning. We have the example, check out. When we say check out, so it refers that somebody that is in a hotel and that person is leaving after paying, right? We have like those kind of specific terms in hotel like check in, check out. But if we look at the meaning, it's completely different with the word itself. Some other differences are when we have compounds and idioms. Well, to be honest, according to some researchers, to distinguish compound nouns from collocations, it's quite difficult if you don't have a knowledge about them, because both have two words together, and some of the ways to distinguish them is that if the noun has an hyphen or the noun is together, as in shoelaces, so we know immediately, that's a compound noun. Or if we have narrow-minded, we say, that's a compound noun because it follows the rule, like when you have an hyphen or when you have one word that is putting together. But what happened when we have post office? So post office, we have two words. And according to some books, they consider post office even like a collocation. So some researchers says that to distinguish the compound nouns with collocations, it will depend on the study that you have with them. Of course, we have a list. It's not like guessing, no. We have a list of words where you can identify which one are part of the collocation group and which one not. And we have idioms, the famous idioms. Well, if we have idioms like fixed order, piece of cake, take it easy, don't judge a book by its cover. In all of these examples, when you are eating a cake, when do we use that expression? It's a piece of cake. I know. When the students are like, they are making let's see, a project? No? Doing a phonetic test? No? So in an oral expression presentation, it's a piece of cake? Yes, no? Okay, so piece of cake is something simple, right? Something easy. then the meaning is different from what we have there. And take it easy. I love that expression. So take it easy, take it easy. So we take something and that thing is easy. No, it's an expression that it means that calm down, right? Relax. So according to the three examples that I presented, then you can realize that if we compared collocation with idioms or phrasal verb, immediately we can distinguish them. But it's a little bit difficult when we have compound noun. Of course, it's not impossible. We can have a list of words, and in that way, studying them, checking them, we can distinguish for sure who is one, who is another one. Now, what is collocation important in the spoken production? Well, we have different studies. According to SU 2015, it says that collocations are fundamental building blocks of language. So when you collocate words, when you have knowledge of them, when you have knowledge of vocabulary, then you have in your mind more ideas to produce. Thus, we have another study that says that it improves your writing style, for sure. Collocations, it's useful in all the skill, reading, listening, speaking, and writing. But then I emphasize now the spoken part. And according to Carthy Odell 2019, he says that how words work together for fluent and natural English. Well, it depends. As non-native speaker, we have our own accent, right? We are not native. But if you want to improve and increase your level when you speak, so you can take into account collocations, because immediately a native speaker will realize that you have an elegant collocation, provide you with colorful and elegant vocabulary. That's one of the importance of it. Some other studies. Many people around the world have done different studies about collocation. It is not something that I selected because I like it. No, it's something that we can find in Google Scholar, different studies. And we have the first one about Mohammed, 2018, in his studies about the effect of lexicon chunks on EFL intermediate learners speaking fluency. He developed study where he took into account a book. In the UK, there is a professor in the University of Nottingham. Now I need to remember his name. That he created. It's McCarthy. Now I remember. How can I forget it? McCarthy. He has different books in the United Kingdom based on collocations, and one of them is Collocation in Use. That book provides professors with some guide how to integrate collocation into the classroom, or words, and in that way the students can't use it in the daily life. And common idioms, because it's important to distinguish them. In that study, he presents a pre and a post test. And in this pre and post test, then he was like measuring how the students in one group was reacting when he was providing the lesson with collocation. At the end of that study, that is more than 3 months, at least, then he realized that collocations were really meaningful in the development of those students that are, Iranian learners in their spoken language, because they were, L2 learners. In the second study, we have another Mohammed, but it's not the same, 2018, that his study says the effect of explicit instruction of collocation in EFL learners' language proficiency. So he worked with a pre and post test. It's like if in here I divide the group and I say, okay, so these students, they will have some lesson, and these other students will have lessons related with collocation. And the professor divided into 2 groups. That professor doesn't use exactly, specifically the collocation in use books, but it used those that he considered that can promote the student's speaking skill to be more proficiency. And at the end, he also has in his studies great results about the use of collocation. The another story that I really love is about Snowder 2017. He developed that study in Canada. So in Canada, with some Swiss students, he implemented an idea based on the collocation, but he doesn't talk about in general. He specified the use of verb plus noun, just teaching the students different verbs that plus noun, they are collocated, and how the student can use them, and integrated the hypothesis about the spacing intentionally and involvement or load hypothesis. When I read the involvement load hypothesis for my colleagues in here, it was like similar with the crashing, with his hypothesis about the input. Because in that hypothesis, he presented like some vocabulary. So most of these studies follow the same procedure because it was successful. What they did, so is first is necessary to provide students with vocabulary, teach them, practice in the classroom. They will use the lessons. And at the end, through a pre and post test, but in this situation, he used a speaking, he recorded the classes in order to realize if the students were using or not the collocations. And the stories were really great too. He applied that story with 54 learners in Canada. Another study was in Japan. So that study was activating accurate vocabulary using spoken English. Collocations produced classroom action research at the Japanese university. So Japanese students were learning English. So around the world, there are many people that are learning English, and they are using collocation to improve their speaking skill. And in that study, he selected 111 students. But this study, as you can appreciate in the day, was 2022. So as we were in the pandemic period when he developed that study, they worked with classes in Zoom. Imagine that. So in Zoom, he was presenting like lesson and practicing with the students through the collocations. And Chile and Renter, at the end, up to 3 months, that's the time that I realized that most of them took when they developed their studies. Then he proved that the students, when he compared the students who were in a control group and another student with experimental group, they really were different. So they have an advanced way of speaking. Now, I'm talking about collocation, and maybe you think that is something difficult. Really not. And maybe you are using some of those expressions. So congratulations, because you didn't know, but then you have that kind of structure in your vocabulary. First, let's see collocation in sport. So collocations can be taught in different levels, primary, high school, at the university for sure. And we can work with meaningful topic at sport. So presenting the student with the verb go, the different expressions, do, what kind of work are always together, and play, as I mentioned, sport with play. And we are collocating words. So I would like, let's see, we have the word, the verb, pardon. So go fishing. So Janil, could you please tell me a sentence with go fishing? Okay, great. I would like to go fishing with my mom. And in that sentence, Janil is using collocation. Thanks so much. Then Guillermo, do we have the verb do aerobics? Could you please tell us a sentence? Okay, awesome. Awesome. And then we have play. play. Who can tell me a sentence with play? Whatever of the sport that we have in there. Any simple sentence, you don't have to elaborate it. Okay, Evelyn, you were volunteer. Professor is in that situation, victim, right? Okay, Evelyn, any sentence with play? I like play football, okay? I like to play football. So great, thanks so much. So you see it's possible. Then we have some other collocation with verb plus noun. Then we have have, break, pay, and make. In make, we have like have a holiday, have a haircut, have a read, have lunch. Who can tell me a sentence with have lunch? A sentence with have lunch? Then you can appreciate that when we have lunch, we can say have breakfast, have dinner, and we are integrating daily routines, collocations. Sentence with have lunch, so it means that all of you are full now. Hmm? So I have, thanks so much. Thanks so much for participating. And we have break, pay, and make. The purpose of that you participate while you look at the example with the verb plus noun is that it's something that you used. It's something that you use. But we have some other categories too. Now we have with take. We say take a break, take a shower, take a seat, take a time, take advice, take a decision, take medicine. Then these are words that always will be together. That's verb plus noun. But I consider that the students, when you need to improve your speaking skill, so we can start with verb plus noun collocation because this category is coming into like intermediate level, right? So when we have collocation, adverb plus adjective. It means that collocation has different levels, basic, intermediate, and high, and the most difficult one. But imagine that you're in a debate. So you're in the oral expression or speech or any of those subjects or whatever subject that you will debate, use the debate technique. And then you have to say that you are talking about the topic. Let's see, what kind of topic? About the coronavirus, the problem that we have now. So you can say like, wow, I'm deeply concerned. Wow, so sophisticated. I'm deeply concerned. Or you are doing, let's see, a grammar test, and you say, oof, it was ridiculous easy. You see? You see? So sounds good. But the use of adverbs and adjectives, then the student should study them. Or we have other like utterly ridiculous, or we have strongly opposed, debate. I strongly oppose with what do you say? I disagree. Instead of I disagree, so you use other expression. And professors can integrate this kind of sophisticated and colorful expressions when you have a round table or you have a debate. Adjective plus noun, that's another way of collocating word. Rich person, so we say rich person, poor person. Runny nose, when you have health problems. Or rainy day, so in primary level, when we teach kids the weather, we say sunny day, cloudy day, or rainy day, snowy day, so we are using collocation. Poor health. Adjective plus preposition. Now the use of preposition. But keep in mind that we are using the preposition about, but the meaning of the adjective will be the same. It's not like when you have phrasal verbs, okay? Worry about, serious about, excited about, annoyed about, anxious about. Of course, can we integrate this in grammar? For sure. Adverb plus verbs. Strongly support, strongly argue, depending on if you are in a debate again. Strongly deny, strongly recommend. I strongly recommend you to this job. strongly dislike, strongly suggest. So you are presenting like a role play about a job interview, and then you use this kind of words. Big is an adjective, and then we can use with the noun big surprise. What a big surprise! Oh, my big brother, big money, big mistake. That's a big mistake. Big decision, big deal, big dreamer, and big improvement. So, as you could appreciate, we have a list of collocation. There are many of them because there are books who specify just the use of collocations. Then, every language has thousands of collocations, even in Spanish, but we have to look for information. What are the Spanish collocations? We know them because we learn it in a natural way. But what I recommend you, if you want to improve your speaking skill, use collocations, specifically those based on verb plus noun at the beginning. Later, for when you speak, you can be more fluent, then you can use adverb plus adjective, but it depends on your needs, what kind of collocations you will use. These are some references that I took into account to present the studies. So the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that around the world, many students are improving their speaking skill using collocations, and the studies have shown that it's really, successful the way that are learning now. So it will depend on you. So please try to be self-learners, research, look for tutorials, and in that way you will see that when you are in second level, third level, or fourth level, you will really improve your speaking skill. So let's keep celebrating the World Cup. Thank you so much. Okay, Professor Placida told me she's coming. She told me that after the presentation, then if you have any questions about the topic, so you can ask me. If you don't have questions, then I will ask you too. So you will be famous. No, come on, you can do it.
All right. All right. Good afternoon. First of all, um, for me, speaking for myself, I can say that everything said in this presentation was perfect, was clear. I understood everything. I have no questions at all. I just want to what was the word? What was the word? To thank you.
Okay, Guillermo, Guillermo is in first level, but thanks so much for your support, your compliment. Yeah, so the point is like, more than presentations, now I would like that through your curiosity, so you start researching and looking for it and integrating this kind of combination in your vocabulary and use them, okay? Useful in speaking, writing, or whatever skill. Someone else? I mean, after finishing the presentation, some of you said that you haven't seen before collocation in your classes. But now tell me, have you seen collocations maybe unconsciously? Yes, you see? So it's not necessarily to present them like, these are collocation. But as professor, then we can say, okay, let's use this word. And when you start speaking, you are using them. That's the point. So congratulations to my colleagues because they were integrating this kind of words into their syllabus too. Mm. Thanks so much.
Okay, at the end of this outstanding conference, to Magister Yelisa Zambrano, we have the letters that correspond to the invitation, and also one letter that will say thank you very much for your contribution to the English students of this department. And we hope that it's not going to be the last time we are going to share with you and also with the rest of colleagues that will be interacting with us during these 3 days. Thank you so much, Professor Zambrano, and please would you come and receive your letters? Thank you. Please, a great applause for Magister Yelisa Zambrano. Okay, we have another speaker. This is Magister Juliana Vasquez, but she will start at 4, okay? Because she has classes previously, and she's about to finish her classes. She's not having classes with us this semester. She's in Cocle, but she will start at 4 o'clock, okay? Thank you.